Okay, for the next step after our inspection and cleaning, we are going to install this little terminal post into the circuit board itself. Let you see that. It's rather small because it's going to have things soldered to it later. We need to clean it first so that any production solvents and everything that were on it are off. So clean the top and the bottom, especially the top, because the top's really the part that's going to have the work done to it. So where that T marker is on top, you want to take care of that so it's nice and clean. And we're actually going to do what is called tinning it first. Tinning it means that we're going to take and go ahead and solder like we've been doing on the tip of our soldering iron here. We're going to take and first, since the first time we've heated up our soldering iron in a while, go ahead and get some solder moving on this again. Oh yeah, nice. Whew. There we go. And then don't hold this with your hand. That would be a bad idea. Just going to get some solder. I'm going to get some solder going on the iron and then just kind of apply it. You don't really want to change the shape of the post if you can help it. So just a nice light layer of solder on there. That's probably really hard to see either way. There's just a nice light layer of solder on there. So that is prepared that way. Now the terminal is going to go in the center of board number 1. Right there where it says BP, there's kind of a hole in the middle. So we're going to take and place it's cooled pretty good now. Place that in there. And kind of put a little bit of pressure on it to get it to seat. Seat down in there. And before we do that, I'm actually going to clean this again. And you're like, but you just cleaned it. But we've got a lot of flux residue that's on there. I got just a taste too much on there. You don't want any spikes this time. So just gonna get rid of the spikes if I can help it. Using that 99% isopropyl alcohol, getting that flux residue off. It'll look really nice and shiny now, as it should. So then we need to force that down into that hole. The Teflon coating is what's actually doing the holding here, because there's no metal in that hole to force anything onto, but you don't want to break your J-FET, and you don't want to break your any of your other components. So just be careful. place, and I just kind of get it a wiggle. And I actually think I'm going to grab from the bottom and pull because it's a little less dangerous. Give me a pretty good tug there. I feel like that is seated pretty well. One last little tug. I can see that the Teflon is like almost to the back of the board, so that gives me a lot of comfort there. When I wiggle the post up top, it is free flowing, so that's good. Now, this is where we earlier we had this leftover leg from our JFET that's sticking up, and our resistor. We don't want to trim the resistor one just yet, but we can trim the JFET one because it's just going to loop around that post. So we're going to take it from the like 3 o'clock side of that post and wrap it around just a little bit so that it'll really guide in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and snip the excess of that one off. I'm going to do the same basic thing with the resistor, but I'm not going to cut the excess yet because we're still going to use it. So you can see right there at the post, which is the white part sticking up right there, that the excess is still out here, but it is wrapped around that post. So there we go.